countries in the Middle East. Well, classical Christian dispensationalism always said the 10 nations were the Holy Roman Empire. I said, decades ago, this is only to put it into perspective, that I saw a 10-nation federation building and coming into being in the Middle East. Now you've got the whole Middle East on fire. You've got basically the ultimate betrayal of Israel by the United States. Now, whether people like Israel, don't like them, the point being is in the Old Testament prophecies of Zechariah, it says all the nations of the world will gather against Jerusalem. That's happening.
I think you're very right. What we need to hope for is that by exposing this, we are going to shut it down at least this time. Perhaps they'll decide that maybe they'll just do this exercise on an annual basis, and maybe by Jade Helm 17 they'll actually roll it out. But I think you're right when you said earlier we need to pray about this. We need to ask that this would not happen, that we would have peace, not only in our country, but in these other countries. And I should have mentioned it earlier, too. Alex is having a hernia operation today. I'd ask people to pray for Alex, pray that he would have a successful outcome, there wouldn't be any complications, that he would be at peace with this and have a quick recovery. So I'd ask for people's prayers about that. And he gave me this before he left. He said that he's going to be running I just want to mention this quickly, a free shipping special. It's our April Fool's special, but there's no fooling. We do have free shipping through Wednesday, and this is the last chance. This is the last day to get DNA Force. He had that expiring at the end of March, but he's run it for one more day. You can get that for 30% off. It's about $40 off of those ingredients. Of course, you need to have clear minds and healthy bodies to fight tyranny, and we have Nobel Prize-winning studies that confirm that the ingredients in this DNA Force will help your body. Its mitochondrial health will help it to fight the toxins that you're constantly exposed to. So again, that's 30% off the very last day, DNA Force, and you can get free shipping on everything at the store, no fooling. Now, Steve, as you were pointing out, I think it's very interesting to look at this enemies list that they have, and the fact that the connection that the Chinese government is starting this Asian investment bank, and that is really taking off. I mean, that's turning into an avalanche of people who are signing up for that. And of course, the Chinese are flush with cash. They're using this in a very different way than we have used the IMF fund. But even the United States is trying to get on this just so that they won't be left off. We see a massive shift from the United States, of course, to China. But that's been going on for quite some time. Everybody can see that. But it's really accelerating at this point, isn't it?
Well, it's not only accelerating, but, somebody said, what's in a name? My answer to that is everything. When any operation is chosen, there is usually a reason for the name being chosen. And that's why I believe that Jade Helm is so critical. Let me make this clear. And this is something that, I stand on after 10 or 12 books. I think I'm up to 12 now. Thanks for announcing that. But the point that I'm trying to provide for people is a perspective, how to embrace this. Because if you try, and David, you'll find this out, if you try and look at this purely in the natural, there is you cannot look at it purely in the natural, because it's like and I'm going to use the word, supernatural evil force that's seeking to subject and subjugate the people of the world, not only kill them. Look, the Illuminati, Alex is...
Yeah, and it's multi-generational as well. I mean, that's something that we see, this relentless progression towards this. And it's like, why would the people care so much to pass on an agenda from one generation to the other? You would think each generation would have its own agenda. But as you point out, this is a supernatural backing behind this. That's, I think, why this continues along this same path of progression from generation to generation.
Well, and again, that's why I'm accelerating my efforts. Look, I don't know how long I have. By the grace of God, I thank everyone for their prayers, and I do pray for Alex. Thank God, a hernia. I had an operation years ago, hernia operation, and when they do them right, you're on your feet pretty quick. You hurt a little bit, but may my prayers go with him, and I thank God for everyone who prays for Alex's safety, the protection around his family. But I want to share something, David. This is important, because and I want to say this, if this were my last time on talk radio, I would say what I'm going to say right now. Unless people understand the supernatural root of evil, they will not understand that when the Illuminati talks in the Georgia Guidestones about 500 million people being left, Alex and I did a show where we quoted every, person of power and how they hate humanity. The vaccines, it was on Infowars.com when we were going to have this level 5 biological shutdown of the country. Alex let me pray at that point, and I said, the only thing I got from the Lord was, watch what I will do. Within 24 hours, we were going from a global pandemic, shutdown, and martial law to the thing fading out and fizzling out. When we started exposing Ebola, the thing faded out and fizzled out. Not to say it won't come back. The point being is when you hear of almost ridiculous releases of some of the most deadly pathogens in the world, and I wrote Breathe No Evil 15 years ago, the point is that I know how these people think, because, again, there is a God in heaven who reveals the secrets to his servants, the prophets. I'm not a prophet. All I am is a watchman. Now, I want to
Absolutely.
say...
Hang on, Steve. We've got to go to a commercial break. When we come back, I do want to talk to you about that book, Breathe No Evil, in light of what just happened in Tulane University. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Most people know that drinking pure high alkaline pH water is the most important factor in maintaining high energy and vibrant health. Most experts agree that the water you drink should be at a pH level of 8 or higher. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops combine a unique formula of the most alkaline minerals. Using plasma pH drops is the best way to make your water alkaline to help you get rid of acid and regain your health and energy. Simply put 10 drops in the water you drink to raise the pH to a healthy level. Alkalizing water helps your body rid itself of acidic waste and increases the oxygen content of your body. Disease organisms like bacteria, viruses, and cancer cannot survive in an alkaline high pH environment. Order your bottle of AlkaVision Plasma pH drops now by going directly to alkavision.com. That's ALKA Vision.com. Or call 269-409-1776. 269-409-1776 today.
As the New World Order continues to tighten its grip on every facet of our lives, we're all asking ourselves, how can we maintain our independence? The answer is clear. Get prepared, and you get prepared now. Now the only question left is, where do we begin? My Patriot Supply is here to help. Call 800-247-3070 to get started with your 72-hour emergency food supply for only $10. We're even covering the cost of shipping. Are you willing to rely on the government and FEMA in the event of an emergency? Call 800-274-3070 to get started with your 72-hour emergency food supply for only $10. You won't be able to find this deal online, and there is a strict limit of 4 per caller, so don't wait. Call now, 800-274-3070. That's 800-274-3070. Call right now.
InfoWars Life and InfoWarsLife.com is extremely excited to announce our latest release, Winter Sun, a revolutionary type of vitamin D3. Winter Sun is a premium quality vitamin D3 nutritional supplement. It is produced by extracting oil from healthy, nutrient-dense plants known as lichens. Every batch is analyzed for purity and D3 content. It's completely free of toxins and allergens. Simply put, if you want the best at an extremely low price, this is it. Winter Sun is the result of our pursuit of the best source of vitamin D3. The research and development took over 2 years, but the result, as verified by independent laboratories, is the best vegan vitamin D3 product in the world. Read the facts at InfoWarsLife.com about Winter Sun Vitamin D3. Not only does vitamin D3 promote a healthy mood, but vitamin D supports our memory and brain function, something the globalists are targeting. Visit InfoWars.com today or call 888-253-3139.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight in Austin, and we're talking to Steve Quayle. We've been talking about Jade Helm, and Steve's pulled us back to talk about the broader context. And Steve, I want to talk about your book here, Xenogenesis, Turning Men into Monsters, you'd also talked about, you also had a book, Breathe No Evil, where you were talking about bioweapons. And we've just gotten a glimpse into the massive, if you want to call it, incompetence of the CDC and these biotech companies who are bringing foreign pathogens, very deadly pathogens, into this country. We just saw an example of it in Tulane, to give them a gain of function. That's what they call it, enhancing them to withstand medication, to also spread more easily. And so we have to look at this and say, what is the madness behind this? Why would they even get themselves involved in something like this? But break down your other book, Xenogenesis, Turning Men into Monsters.
Well, xenogenesis is important for people to understand, because behind the intentional release of bioweapons, remember this, that when people are being exposed to headlines that there's been a strange release, or that the CDC, that Center for Disease Control, thought that the last remaining supplies of smallpox always mysteriously turn up, every pathogen worldwide that has been located, isolated, or reanimated is designed for bioweapons. The basis of all bioweapons is ultimately first to kill the enemy, but ultimately to end all life. When I broke the story, David, 30-second important story on race-specific bioweapons in South Africa, designed by Dr. Wouter Basson, that went wild throughout the world. There was absolutely a project called Project Coast, but yes, to give it a more impetus, when Alex and I, or whoever, talks about singularity, that talks about transhumanism, that talks about all of the different technological enhancements to mankind, super soldiers, this is stuff that I wrote in my book, Xenogenesis. What they're doing is taking third-party DNA sequences, hence xenogenesis just means the addition of additional helix to the double helix, creating a triple helix, in other words, a stand, and creating literally new life forms. Now, when I first wrote that in Genetic Armageddon 15 years ago, people just couldn't handle it. But now we're right there where, guess what? The lie that people are being told is biological enhancements are one thing, but when you combine them with robotics, you're going to get basically an Uberman, which Nietzsche talked about, and which the Nazis were absolutely looking for. The word Ubermensch literally means supermen. So when DARPA went forward with its super soldier program and basically started integrating specific gene traits from animals, i.e. eagle vision, i.e. regenerative processes of a salamander, i.e. all of the different things. You know, it's just like this was a comic book series coming out into real time. And again, because I've been so far ahead, it's just like this, ladies and gentlemen. The bottom line, I used to say that all the time, David, and people would send me email, don't use that, you're overusing. No, the bottom line means when you cut through all the crap, when you cut through all the haze, all the fog, and all of the misdirection, the bottom line is there is a supernatural force called the devil, which the Luciferians worship, that are trying to kill off every man, woman, and child. And what they're promising is eternal life, and they're promising supernatural and the ability to basically live forever and have to deal with nothing, with super intelligence. It's kind of like Animal Farm on steroids.
Absolutely.
Everybody is equal.
Well, actually, Steve, it's kind of like Genesis, where the serpent promised that with this knowledge, you're going to be able to live forever. You know, you're not going to ever die. Thank you so much for joining us at stevequayle.com. Check out his website. We'll be right back. In the next hour, we're going to talk to Joe Biggs. And here, we're going to talk about what's going on in the Ukraine. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Another major health threat, this one in Toledo, Ohio, where everybody in the entire city has been told not to drink the water.
Ohio's governor declaring a state of emergency.
Did you know that the average person uses about 80 to 100 gallons of water at home every single day? If there's a water emergency, will you be prepared?
Panicked residents forming long lines throughout the day.
We're here at a supermarket in Toledo. You can see the shelves empty where water once was.
To stay safe and healthy during a crisis, you must must have access to safe, clean water. Water which will not be available at your local grocery store.
There's a mad dash on right now to stock up on supplies.
The ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system is a must-have for every modern, independently minded household. Protect your family's safety during an emergency. Go to InfoWarsStore.com today to purchase your ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system or call 1-888-253-3139.